I just saw this
so
fucking
silly.
like, meme that's like, I could never abuse substances. I love substances.
I love that joke. That's so funny.
I love substances.
That's kind of like the joke that's like, can you believe a shrimp fried this rice? And like that gets me going every time. Like, it's so good.
Hello everyone. Welcome back to the motherfucking #1 comedy podcast about mental health, baby. I am your fairy buff mother, and we have a roller skating mother in the house. We have Dorsa. She's back, and you can see her this time.
Yes.
Yay! If you are listening and not on the U of Tubes, head over to YouTube. We are on Mental Chillness. Subscribe so you can keep up with all of the full video content every week. And also, if you are on like the audio platforms, wherever you're listening on Spotify, Apple, whatever it is, leave a rating and review. That would really help the show. It would really help us spread the word. You know?
Spread the love.
Exactly, and the vibes, you know? Well, the more the merrier. I would love for more people to be able to come to the community, join the community, you
That's
know?
what it's all about.
Yes. How are you doing today, Dorsa?
I am good.
Yay.
Yeah.
I'm so happy to have you here.
I know. I've been looking forward to this since last month.
Yes.
We messed up our
Oh my god.
schedules.
That was the funniest fucking thing. And literally, it just so happened that when you said that, it was on a day where I think I had shit to do, and I was like,
Right
great.
here. We just,
You know, I'm like,
made it
cool.
work out.
Let's
Yeah.
do it.
I love it. And today is so beautiful. It's so chilly and nice, and I love to be here with you. Also,
Yes. Oh yeah,
we have a tree.
we do. Dude, the other day, so I attended Dorsa's like Persian New Year celebration and a celebration of her graduation because
Yes.
the shorty is graduated and educated.
Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
god,
you.
Dorsa, bro, I have to tell you the craziest fucking train of thoughts. Okay, ready?
Tell me, I'm at the station.
This
Let's
is
go.
so fucking crazy. I literally was a little bit late because I was baking this fucking cake and it took
That
a
was so good, by the way. No one would shut up about how good this cake was.
I'm so
like,
glad.
we were walking around, who is the chef?
Yes.
I need to give my
I was like,
compliments to the chef.
it's me. But yeah, so I was a little bit late, right? And I like to smoke before I go anywhere because it's just how I get myself
Obviously,
into like the mood, you know, the mindset. But I was late, so in my mind, and also for context, I'm trying to be more punctual, right? I'm trying to value and respect people's time. So I'm trying to like be more punctual and not late to things. And the main reason why I'm always late to things is because of my social anxiety. I would rather take the blame on like, wow, she was like an hour late and whatever, miss half of the event, then like fucking be there and just freak the fuck out because I
Yeah.
don't know what to do or say the entire time,
Well,
right?
sometimes you need like a moment to like mentally prepare, and then once you're ready, you go, and maybe that takes half an hour.
Yeah.
Maybe that takes an hour and a half.
Exactly.
Maybe the event is only 2 hours, and you just have to say, "Thank you so much for inviting me, but it didn't work out."
Sometimes you gotta
You
do
know?
what you gotta do.
You gotta do what you gotta do. You gotta take care of yourself.
Exactly. But anyway, so I was late and I didn't smoke my joint at home. I was like, let me be not late, so let me take this joint just in case. And then I started smoking it in my car, right? And then there were two trains of thoughts in my brain. I was one. Your mother follows me on Instagram. I love her. I adore her. I think it's from
My
like
mom?
Yes, your
Oh.
mom. I think it's because it's from the last time that you went on the podcast, right? It's awesome.
so
I love
funny.
it. I know. So in my mind, I did not know what the fuck you invited me to. So I literally had zero context of like who's gonna be there, if your entire family was coming, if like whatever. So
That's
in
funny. funny.
So in my fucking brain, I was like, first of all, let's not bring any weed because I don't know if her mom's gonna be there, and I know that her mom probably knows that she smokes and she's a grown ass lady.
Cool. She gets it.
Yeah,
She's with it.
but in my mind, I'm like, don't be the late girl that like that's like also like the fucking like
honestly
stoner.
though, that's me. With like my people, I'm the late girl who walks in smelling like weed, and everyone's like, "Oh, I'm just so glad she made it."
Oh my god! I started smoking it in my car, and then I was like, "Should I put this out? I'm gonna be the late girl who is like stoned and whatever." So I did put it out, right? And then another train of thought comes in my mind. I'm like, you better fucking smoke the rest of that shit because you're not gonna be okay.
Oh my god!
So then I started smoking it again,
yeah,
and I smoked the whole thing, and then I walked in and I was like.
It's normal. It's
literally nothing that was going on in my brain is happening right now at all.
Ain't that the truth? Ain't that always the truth?
I was like, and then that was when I was like, I'm gonna have a snack.
Yeah, and there was plenty to choose from. So
Dude,
I'm
yes.
glad there was, something to hold you over, and then because I feel you on that. I do that whole train every time I'm
it's
like
kind
about
of
to enter
freaking
a big
insane
social situation.
Yeah, but like honestly, I didn't know how much social anxiety I had until that night.
Yeah,
and only because I think that night was I willingly chose to go to something that I knew no one. Right? And once I put myself in there, I honestly was like, I want to stay, but how am I gonna stay? Can I just stay like by myself in the corner? Like, so I did, and then people started like inviting me in, and I was like, oh my god, these people are nice. Okay, like this is cool. And then I like sat down with everyone, started like talking and whatever, and I was like, okay, like good job, like you're doing great, like, and I ended up staying like the whole night. And
and you jumped over the fire.
Yeah, and like I talked to people and I made friends.
And you brought an amazing cake.
Oh my god, that's
by the way.
That was like
I just want to keep bringing it up.
That's
it was so delicious.
Thank you. that's like my little like social like like I don't know how to insert myself, but I'm gonna bring something I guess. And usually is weed.
That's the best. I mean, same. It's like food or weed, and either way, it's like if you made something, you can talk about it. If you rolled something, you can pretty much talk about it.
Exactly.
Like, that's people talking. Yeah, that's all. Yeah. And honestly, like, wow. At that whole night, every time I looked over, everyone that I love and care about and, like, think is so cool was talking to everyone else that I love and care about and think is so cool. And I was just like, yay. Yeah. And, like, everyone, like, I'm very much, like, a social person, and I like to share things on my Instagram about people that I love and what they're doing. And so, I mean, I feel like a lot of people I kept overhearing, like, oh, yeah, I, like, have seen you on Dorsa's Instagram. Like, oh, yeah, I've, like, seen you on the WoW account. I'm like, yeah, connection, baby.
Yeah, it was awesome. There was, and, like, literally, I did notice that, like, there were, like, kind of, like, different friend groups present.
Yeah.
But it was so cool because being the one person that, like, wasn't familiar or have met anybody, they all were so nice to each other, to me, like all across the board. Like, it's just really cool to be in social spaces and like events where there are multiple like people present and all the spirit is kind of like in the same wavelength. In the like, it's so cool because in the past I have either hosted things or gone to things that I myself didn't know how to kind of quote unquote like control the room or be able to make the room comfortable because I myself have fucking social anxiety. So then I start relying on my guests just to be cool, and if not, then I hope they're enjoying their time. But like, it's hard for me to like be able to mediate like what's going on when there's a lot. But, like, your friends were literally just doing it themselves.
Yeah, it's really sweet.
Yeah.
Plus, I love hosting, and I love, like, a theme. I love a gathering. Like, I feel like that's where I, shine a little bit. So I really enjoy putting things together for people. So, yeah, I just, like, think it's so fun when everyone can get together at once, too. Because it's so hard when everything's going on and no one's schedules match up, but like if you plan something a couple weeks out on a Sunday, most of the time people are going to be able to make it, and it makes it a lot easier for everyone to get together because it's like sometimes I see some of my friends every week, and sometimes I won't see them for like 3 months, and I'm but I want to see y'all all the time. Yeah. So this is like a nice opportunity. Plus, I kept saying, I was not anticipating anyone to take it like very seriously. I was like, I just wanted it to be like a fun excuse for a gathering and like for a party. And everyone brought like something so nice for my graduation. I was like, that's so sweet. I didn't like anticipate.
Well, I think everybody takes it a little more serious when there's a banner involved, like when there's an advertisement, like actual poster.
I know. I like went hard in Canva.
I fucking love it.
If I'm gonna have a whole thing, I might as well like make it cute.
That's so funny. Oh my god. That's basically how I feel about like the collective and like the collective meets and stuff.
Yeah.
And like that's why I was like, if Dorsa could like bring herself to something that I invite her to, that she knows nobody and like she has fun and she mingles and she whatever, I could at least insert myself and reciprocate in the same way.
Well, the pie night was like incredible, and I talked to some of those peeps on Instagram. Like we chat, like it's really nice. I think it's so cute too, because that's like kind of the whole point.
I can't wait for you to bring whoever you want to bring to the potluck. And oh my god,
I'm also like, I've been thinking ever since you said it the other day, I'm like, I keep thinking like, what do I have to make? What should I make?
Oh my god, so I'm planning on, I don't know what, Tayin and I planned on doing katsu, like different like variation of katsu and like a curry, and then I wanted to bake a baklava cheesecake. Those are the pistachio crunchy things, right? Yes. My favorite shit ever. Yeah.
Wow. That sounds so good. Oh.
Hopefully she will come out, but.
Wow, I'm obsessed with that.
Dude, yeah. Oh my god, I haven't. Well, I did bake for your thing, but I haven't been like baking in a little, and I feel.
What are you talking about? I feel like every time I look on your stories, you're like baking.
Oh my god, one time I failed. And I was supposed to do a baking and I failed it, and I was like, okay, I guess maybe next time.
We'll come back to that.
Have you been mentally ill or mentally chill? How has your waves?
So honestly, like the start of this year went from like being very mentally ill to like now I'm very chill, because I feel like December was like awful.
Hardcore.
Really freaked up. I don't know if you like cursing on this, but I
curse all the time.
Oh, okay. I don't know why I thought that just now.
Every single guest, and I'm like, do you guys like not know me in real life?
And I've probably already said fuck, but I'm like, whoa, now I'm seriously
But also,
saying
I kind of just learned. I don't know if this is like true. I need to do more research. But I just learned that like the YouTube or whoever don't pay you if you like have cursing like within the first like 10 minutes or some shit like that.
Yeah.
I'm like,
but you can beat boot beat.
I know. Yeah, exactly. I'm kind of using this like opportunity, like this area right now of the podcast, to where like I kind of have a lot of freedom. Nobody's really taking this like that serious, so I can do whatever I want.
Hell yeah, as you should.
You know? But anyways, yes, the beginning of your year.
Yeah, so ever since the beginning of this year, I feel like I've been getting like on a better stride. So like now I'm feeling a lot more chill. And I think that has a lot to do with like having some new structure with like my Yelp internship, which is cool. And then also taking like a bit of a step back from while rolling stuff. Like not necessarily me stepping away from anything, but just like putting other people in front, because I kind of injured myself at the beginning of this year doing something silly goofy, and then like a week after that I went and fell on my knee in a silly goofy way too, and the whole thing has just been like so annoying, like trying to heal. So what I did was, the first time I hurt myself, which like I never hurt myself, like I'm very prideful in the fact that like I know how to fall. I try really hard to like always wear my pads and be really mindful of like what I'm doing tricks wise. But I was performing with my sweet friend Patsy, who you met.
I love her.
We love Patsy.
Oh my god.
But we were in New Smyrna at this like little private party thing, and like they had us skating on a little stage, and I wasn't wearing my normal skates. I didn't have my toe stops in. Didn't really think about it. I was wearing like a sparkly outfit, so I wanted to have my sparkly skates, but they are not my normal skates.
Mm-hmm.
So I do my signature little spin into a split, and I, instead of like catching myself like normal, I fully just like slammed completely down into the split, like and like this completely hit the ground and bounced up, and then I like did a thing.
Not in a sparkly dress.
It was crazy. No. I was in a sparkly like onesie piece thing, but God. Like, yeah, it was really embarrassing. Anyways, I think only I knew what happened, but I do remember someone in the crowd. I could see him go,
"Oh
and
no!"
I was like, no. I was like, he knows. He saw my pain, and I was fine. And then the next day, I was like, oh, I like really hurt myself. And it's like still like it hurts in here in my tuchus, you know, like in the
and that's really annoying. That's a really annoying area to.
And it's like I had so much flexibility, and now it's like not gone, but it's like definitely hindered. And then the other day we had butt rock karaoke at the social, thanks to War. And I was on stage, and I had the mic, and I was like doing my thing, and I kicked up, and I re-hurt myself. Yeah. Like I was going so hard. I think it was like for Coming Undone.
Oh.
And I just like kicked up and hurt myself again, and I was like, wow, this is really messed up. And then the week after I initially hurt myself, I was teaching a skate park lesson to my friend, or to my friend, she is my friend, but to this girl Rylan, and I was showing her something, and I was like, oh, I don't need to wear my pads tonight. We're just going over normal stuff. We're just going to be drilling normal stuff. And she asked me how to jump over this thing. And I was like, yeah, I love to jump. I know how to jump. I can jump anytime. Show me anything, I'll jump. With my knee pads on, for sure. Don't know why I thought, oh, I'll jump over this cone without my knee pads. It's fine. And I fully slammed down, ripped my favorite jeans and my favorite knee. So now I'm fine, and I'm like going back to all of my like regularly scheduled activities, you know, like
oh man,
I took a break from rock climbing, I took a break from skating all the time, like I just had to like chill a bit. So
I feel you. I super duper feel you. I literally am just now resuming to like working out in the gym and stuff because I totally injured myself as well.
Doing a split?
No, doing a headstand.
Damn,
so up in the air, bitch.
Look at us,
dead ass. For real, bitch. I literally thought that I broke my shit like hardcore because I was driving and I could not turn with the car. So, bro, the car, every time the car was turning, I had to literally brace every single inch of my fucking core because I cannot hold anything else. And I had to, while it turns, and it feels like my head is about to just plop off. Just literally plop off of my... And it was like kind of funny because I'm like, yeah, you fuck your shit up, bitch. You fuck your shit up. But... Well, I'm glad we're both okay.
Yeah, I'm back on it. I think April I'm gonna go back to the climbing gym.
Yes.
And we just had a skate meetup on Saturday, so we got to all like kind of cruise around and hang out. It was a little more chill. But in April I'm planning on having some more like while rolling stuff coming back because I feel like I needed to take a big long break. Because last year I didn't really realize until I like took a step back, but last year was like a very busy year for while rolling, and so much was happening, and we were doing so much all the time that like I didn't really take in the magnitude of how much until like pretty much January, when January hit, and I was like, oh, because that's when I finally had a chance to be reflective, was like deep into January, and I was like, oh my god, like no wonder I have no energy for anything. Like I kind of, someone mentioned it as like the ick, and I was like, that sounds dramatic, but like, you know, like when you like love something, you eat it every day, you eat it all the time, and then out of nowhere you're like, whoa.
Yeah, no, I think you're just like, you're at an imbalance.
That for sure.
You know?
But now I feel a lot better with everything, so it's been really cool to see what doing for yourself ends up looking like. You know what I mean?
Wow.
I feel like that meme with the guy who's crazy and he's like this and he's like You know?
And we're all like, we know.
Yeah.
Oh my god.
If
So,
you know.
bitch. That kind of ties into my like little hot deep thoughts in the sauna.
Yeah, tell
Hot
me
sauna
about
deep
this.
thoughts. So fuck. I want to kind of take a bite of
Please
this
get in
cake,
there.
dude. Cause like
Okay, so this little
For
slice of
breakfast.
cake is from
the glass
the
knife.
glass knife. Here, I'm gonna show the camera.
Mm.
My sweet
Oh my
friend
god.
Kate got it for me.
Texture.
There's some crazy layers in there. Also, I made this bowl.
Oh my god. Yeah,
I
you be
love
popping off in your
ceramics now.
ceramics, dude.
Dude, thank you. I really enjoy it. It's like such a fun hobby
Mm-hmm.
that doesn't require anything except my time and attention and money. Wow. Well, it does require a lot. I kind of like it that way though.
Mm-hmm.
And the thing is like, I was telling somebody about this and it's like kind of silly, but like a girl has a business mindset. So I can't stop that. But ceramics has nothing to do with while rolling. And I've already had my like selling art at the market phase. So like
This is just for yourself.
literally. And I love making functional stuff. So it's like even more sweet when I like only use stuff that I've made. I'm like,
Yeah. Oh my god.
and like getting to pull things out. Like when I'm at this pottery studio, like getting to see my work on a shelf and not knowing what it's going to end up looking like and just kind of finding it based on the shape I remember it looking like that's fun. Like
That's
that all of a
awesome.
sudden you're like in a game of I Spy, like what's going on? Like where's my shit? Like what is it? I put it in like a green goo and now it's supposed to be yellow and I don't know what it's going to actually look like. Like wow. Yeah.
That's amazing.
It's so fun.
That's so awesome. A lot of my friends are ceramicists.
Mm-hmm.
Taina, my one of my good friends in Miami who's a tattooer, but also is like a ceramicist that does like all these different. Their art is really cool,
Yeah.
really funky, kind of like yours. I love it. I love the shit that you make.
It's been fun to experiment.
Yeah, so I'm kind of like trying to explore that actually. I had a therapy session that I was kind of like admitting things that I had never really admitted to myself or anybody out loud, but I was just like, I smoke a lot, and it's kind of weird that like I when I'm on like vacation and stuff, I prefer not to smoke. I prefer to be like very present. Because like I'm getting some kind of like dopamine from like seeing things for the first time, exploring all that shit. But when I'm at home, it's almost like I just want to like coast. Like I just want to
Until the next time that you're doing something where you're required
and so
to be a little
exactly, and so I'm extremely functional, like stoned. Like I'm extremely. I go through my day and whatever. But the thing is, I had never realized that I was just like passing my. Well, I had realized it, but I had never thought that it was a problem until now that I see it. Like I was always just passing my time, and this is
Right.
not to like project myself onto like other smokers and whatever, but I was always kind of just like passing my time. Like I didn't really explore much of how I like to spend time with myself, but more so like when I first moved out, I was dealing with a lot of my depression and anxiety. I was working out a lot of things. And I also was getting into weed for the first time ever. And so I found this thing that helped me sleep, helped me pass the time, helped me eat things, make, whatever.
Yeah, and
like
it's
it just,
social, so if you were at a party and it's there,
yeah,
it's
I
all of a
found
sudden,
like a
you're
new
cool
thing
with
where,
it.
exactly, where
Right.
it's like my new form of like social bonding. And like, it was just so many things that I didn't take into consideration of like how it has built this habit up until now. But basically,
Well, that's the funny thing with like something like weed, because I've been smoking for a really long time, but it ends up being like you don't think about it that way, but the same way that you're looking for something in that and you're finding it, but it's subconscious, people make that intentional choice when they pick a hobby because it's literally giving you the same things, right?
Exactly.
Something to ease your mind, pass the time,
yep.
make you feel good, like with an activity, it's like maybe it'll help you go to sleep, like yoga.
Yeah.
Like if you do it at night, it really calms you down.
Exactly.
Like, and you have all of these intentional things that you do that, and honestly, like having things to look forward to makes life feel way more stretched out and like
Exactly, and
you
it's
can
more,
actually be there. It doesn't feel like time is just flying by.
and it's how
like,
you
oh, I have this
romanticize
and
your
that.
time basically, because you're literally like learning new skills, having different focuses on,
Yeah.
like thinking about different beauties in life and whatever. But like basically now I'm just like I need to be able to explore with myself, I need to be able to be bored. I need time to be bored.
Yeah, it's important.
Yeah, like this podcast, not that this podcast came out of being bored. This podcast is like a necessity, but all of my time being bored, what did I do? I got into comedy, I got into stand-up, I got into podcasting.
Yeah.
And then now I'm basically like doing what I like.
Yeah.
But this is something that I think there's a lot of purposes that comes with this podcast, right? For myself, for other people, financially, all these different things that we hope and want for it.
Right.
But I have so many different other interests, like, and I feel that at different points in my life, I abandoned them all for one reason or another, and I want to find my way back to like just literally sitting there and paint. I love like just fucking like doing shit. I haven't written a poem or a fucking song or anything in like a while.
Yeah.
And I want to explore being able to like, I want to get back into skating. I want to be more physical. I want to see more things, you know? Yeah. So that's something new that I'm like, okay, like how can I be, what am I like when I'm bored?
Yeah. Well, and I feel like, you know, I love just making a little day for myself. And for one reason or another, if I have a empty day, there are times where like I end up just like not forcing myself. I really like being home and like getting stuff done, but I'll like, you know, I can like stare at the TV and like smoke and hang out, or I can like be really productive at home, maybe even have the best of both worlds where I'm like keeping up with things, but also taking time to relax, and like cleaning and reorganizing is relaxing for me, you know?
Yeah.
So I feel like, I mean, you just have to find the things that work for you and like give yourself the time. I feel like putting it on the calendar is really important, because then it makes it like a special occasion. It's not just like, oh, if I have the time when I wake up, I'll go and like maybe I'll like throw a couple things on the pottery wheel. It's like, you can't do that.
No,
like,
you have to actually intentionally like, absolutely.
Yeah. And,
I just thought of something while you're talking. I'm so sorry.
No.
But I'm like, it's not the substances, it's how you go into using the substances. So basically, like, it's not that, dude, I can be as functional as I want on weed, and this is how, right? It's my intention when I start smoking. If I start smoking and I'm like, this is gonna get me fucking lazy and whatever, of course I'm gonna get fucking lazy and whatever. But like, dude, I smoke before I go to the gym, and I tell myself that this is gonna help me get into focus, and I can feel every single like mind muscle connection better and whatever, and it really does fucking help me, right? And so when I'm starting to clean my house, I don't smoke and be like, this is gonna relax me. No, this shit is gonna get me productive. Like, I go into like different modes, and so it's not really the substances, it's your intention.
That's so true too, because I really like treating it as a treat, because it makes it a little more like intentional in that way too, but also like, I don't know, like I get really habitual with things, because I love a little ritual, I love a little consistency.
Same.
And that there's been many times where it's like I've turned to weed for that reason. And I also don't drink, so like that never really like because I don't, I feel like, oh well, if I'm just California sober, like it doesn't really matter, like I'm chilling, it's cool, like I'm not, you know, hurting anybody. But then like I sometimes will like look back at group photos and be like, who allowed me
literally
to go out of the house with my eyes closed? Like, that's crazy.
Literally, I just saw this
so
fucking
silly
like meme that's like, I could never abuse substances. I love substances.
I love that too. That's so funny.
I love substances.
That's kind of like the joke that's like, can you believe a shrimp fried this rice? And like that gets me going every time. Like, it's so good. I just imagine a little shrimp with his little
fucking Kobe chef.
Sweaty. He's like,
oh my, Kobe chef hat. Oh my god, that's so funny.
It's really cute.
Oh, that's so fucking funny, bitch. Oh my god, that's so funny. Anyways, my deep hot sauna thoughts.
Oh yeah. Go ahead. Let me put a piece of cake in my mouth and I'll shut up.
Oh.
Go ahead.
Okay, so recently I was in the sauna and I started like unlocking revelations that's very obvious, but I'm like, wow, girl, like you need to talk about it.
Write that down.
So a recent fucking train of thoughts that I had about myself is that all of my life, I feel that I have been chasing for people to understand me, desiring people to understand me and see me and hear me, right? But I was doing it in such a way where that wasn't accomplishing that purpose at all. Because I was basically chameleoning myself into people, hoping that they would accept me and love me and validate me. But by my love for them and by my ability to be exactly what they want, right? Yeah. And then I started just like thinking about stuff, and I was like, okay, how can I be out here like trying to get people to understand me if I have never invested the time to understand myself?
Yeah.
Because and then I started working through like my traumas, right? So all of my life, my like world like battle, it has always been like neglect, rejection, invalidation, and it came in different forms, right? My family is my family's great, they're just different, and that environment was just not great for my being because they didn't fully accept me at an age where I wasn't even exploring myself yet. You were just like pushing me down, right?
Already, yeah.
And then I moved to America, and my first few years, like literally from like 4th grade all the way up to like 10th grade, is I experienced nothing but like being bullied, being mocked, being made fun of, being shitted on, being set up and then fucking played tricks, all of these different things. I never realized how much that affected me, but my entire life, because of that as the foundation of my relationship and connection to people here, I rebel. Like my natural nature is like rebelling. So I rebelled against my family of being not what they want, but at the same time I rebelled against myself because instead of exploring myself, I just was desperate for love and connection. So I went to people, the outside world, and I basically neglected myself as well, because then I started doing all these things that were not good for me, but it was basically to get validation from other people, right?
Yeah.
But the whole point is, my entire life I've just been rebelling for one reason or another to one person or another or myself, that I just never truly actually gave myself the time to explore myself. I never actually understood myself. Just now am I starting to understand myself, but back then I was in such difficult situations that I could never like truly understand why I stayed.
You're
like
in fight or flight, like constantly, and when you finally relax and like end up in situations that you don't feel like you have to be in defense mode for, like all of a sudden things like fall into place. You kind of have a moment where you realize, oh wow, I haven't been like miserable the last couple weeks. Like that's a new feeling. Like that's great, you know. But you end up like so in defense all the time that once that like calms down, because I went through this like pretty recently too, where like the last couple months I'm like, oh, I remember what this feels like not constantly be like, you know, feeling like I have like my porcupine spines up, like get away from me, like like I need space, I need to figure this out, like everything's on fire all the time, like oh my god, blah blah blah. But like eventually you find the path again, and it like feels really good, and you end up starting to like do things that continue to push you that way. But like yeah, you have to like ride those waves when you can, and like I always feel like, oh good, okay, we're here, I'm gonna do whatever I can to like keep this, you know, positive train going.
Yeah, absolutely.
Because you never know.
Exactly.
It could just... But each time you get better at like popping it back up, you know what I mean? Like it doesn't always end up just going all the way down. You feel like, okay, wait, I know what to do.
Exactly. That's exactly what my therapist said. My therapist was telling me like, you're constantly like, okay, like basically like my inner child and my current self right now, like they're not working with each other, because my inner child is like literally like constantly thinking that we're gonna fail, like we're being set up, we're gonna fail, like someone is setting us up right now. And it's like really intense to the point where it shows up in different places. Like if I ever try to flirt, or if I ever try to show any kind of like sappy lovey-dovey like emotion and whatever, it freaks me the fuck out to where it to an outside person, like to a normal person, it looks like I'm spiraling, and I am, bitch. Like I'm literally like screaming, right? And it shows me like
it's so scary sometimes.
It is, like, but also I'm like, okay, girl, maybe you have a problem because this should not be like this. You should not feel this bad.
I mean, you should feel butterflies and feel nervous.
But you should not be like screaming at the top of your lung because you want to crawl inside of your skin because of something that you said.
Scary,
you know. And I mean, I trust my gut. Because in the past, when I have had that feeling with a different person, I understand that person was not a good person. It was not going to a place where it was deserving, and there was no reciprocation of that energy. And that's why I always felt so shitty. But like recently, this happened yesterday, and I did it to a different person, and I started freaking out. And I was like, wait a minute, what am I feeling? Like, why am I feeling like this? And then that person ended up like reciprocating this energy, and I was like, But
I feel like I have to live in a delusion sometimes. Like I saw a TikTok about this, and my friend Lauren sent it to me, where it's like, I'm in my delusion era. Like I'm just gonna tell myself everything is what I want and as I see it. And like if it doesn't end up that way, then it wasn't in my. It's like not in my.
Literally
fantasy.
Not
so, like,
meant for me.
Like what? Like I'm just moving on in my delusion. I got other shit to think about. That's gonna work for me.
Yep.
Like I also heard it as like lucky girl era, and I was like,
God,
that's so cute. Like it's so like Britney, like she's unlucky. And I like love thinking about it that way. It's like fun.
It is, and I want to start allowing myself to my new thing. My new thing is like, okay, bitch, like the worst they can do is say no, and the thing is you say no to other people, so like you gotta be able to take it. You know what I'm saying? But basically, to go back to what my therapist was saying to me is that I am constantly thinking that the world isn't safe, but that's little me thinking that because the world wasn't safe. But little me doesn't understand that grown me is like really smart and really strong and like like no one can manipulate like grown me like they did to little me, and little me doesn't understand that, and so little me is always constantly protecting me from things, but things that are not really there. It's just
and they seem humongous to your inner child, but then like so whatever to you in person, maybe it's a challenge, maybe it's not, but like that's reaction is still coming from somewhere in you, and I feel that wholeheartedly. It's like really annoying sometimes because you're like, dude, like I'm good. Why am I doing like I've gone through this plenty of times. Like I know what to do. It's like how people struggle with like their to-do list and getting things done and like having a lot going on that you like put something off and then it takes 5 minutes to actually do it. And you're like, oh, I was freaking out for nothing. Like all of that feels very like self-destructive when you're not like taking in account for how much you are doing, how you're okay, like everything is like working out. If it's not, there is probably something you can do, but like you're saying, when something inside of you is just constantly panicked, like you have to worry about this and this and this and this, like it's
Are there like specific things that you do when you get like you start spiraling? Are there like specific grounding things for yourself?
I mean, like, it's always different, which is kind of frustrating because, like, I feel like I'm making a lot of strides with medication and, like, I was doing therapy every week and kind of took a step back from that to, like, really go figuring things out on my own, seeing what I can handle on my own. And honestly, like, I believe in talk therapy and I believe in therapy in general, and I think everyone should try it if you can. But after doing talk therapy with like 3 or 4 different people, like over the course of so many years, like I really think I needed something kind of different, and I needed to also empower myself to take care of it. So to answer your question, really, like I don't know. I'm like constantly trying new things with it because like I was kind of under the care of other people and like relying on that time to really like let it all out, but like that was continuing to train me to bottle things up, whether it was only for a week or 2 weeks or once a month. Like I still took it, like my brain still took it very seriously enough to like hold on to things,
Yeah.
to talk about it and not have a full, like I would have 55 minutes to talk about this shit, and 10-15 minutes of it is spent, you know, catching up. And eventually it got to the point where I just wanted to really like take a moment to like take in some inventory and see what I can do and what I actually need out of therapy and my like skills and tools to like grow on my own, you know? So yeah, I feel like to get out of those spaces, I do my best to like breathe. Obviously, like I take a second to like sit and breathe, and I'll usually talk to myself and be like, yo, like, you good? Like, what's going on, you know? And like really just like kind of listing out everything that's going on. Like, okay, so like you're feeling like this because of this. Totally understandable. This is happening now, blah, blah, blah. Like just kind of like mapping it out, you know, like kind of getting it out in front of you, and you're like, oh, like this is not a huge thing. But like when it's all scrambled and it feels like it's like you have homework, you have work. Have you looked at your laptop today? What about your self-care? What about this? What about that? And then you're like, oh my God, I only have X amount of hours in the day. Shit. But really it's like, because I wake up really early. So it's like, I really do give myself a lot of time to like chill and have a morning routine and like get some things done for myself in like the earlier part of the day, work a little bit, have some time for myself, work a little bit, have some time for myself. Like that kind of schedule works for me. And I just continue to try and do things, and as they work for me, like put it in my pocket. Like do another thing, works for me, put it in my pocket. Cause like, you know, I can only do so much each day. So if I can at least make it easier on myself to like move forward without having to like be stuck. Cause I feel like I get stuck. Like what happens is like, I'm getting into my whole like spirally nervousy thing. But if I tell myself like, ooh, I'm in a mood right now, maybe I'll just like go, you know, buzz around, get my zoomies out. Like maybe that's what I need to do. Or like maybe I need to sit down and like write it all out. I like kind of go through the bullet points of what normally helps. And if I get to the end of that list and I'm like, holy shit, something's still going on, then I'll maybe like reach out to a friend or like someone I know would support me. But like, ever since I've really taken it into account that I need to do these things, I can't just rely on a therapist that I talk to every week. I can't rely on my friends who have their own shit going on. Like, I can't rely on strangers. Like, you know, there's times where I've been like dumped on in the middle of the day at a shift. Like, I can't do that to people. Like, I gotta really like look within, and that's what's gonna make me stronger.
Self-regulation.
Yeah.
Literally self-regulation.
Yeah. And just
That's
trying to
awesome.
keep it on the brain. Like when you're freaking out, like I'm saying all of this on a great day with my sweet friend and we're just talking about it. And it's just like in theory, but then like in actual practice, it really depends on like, what are you doing to keep yourself accountable? Like what's the motive, right? Like I will always think about like things that I hope to see in my future if I have these things a little more under control. Like, what would my life look like if I woke up every day and wasn't constantly like in disarray, right? And like I've been getting better about it because I'm telling myself that like we're good. Things are working out. If they don't, we have support. If they do, great. Let's celebrate, right? So it's like I'm trying to really like keep things a little more airy and light since I have that capability right now.
Absolutely.
Trying to write it.
Wow. I'm in kind of the same space where like I'll end my therapy session with my therapist, and like I don't think that, well, I do go through the same train of thought to where I'm like, okay, I'm kind of bottling this in specifically just to say for my therapist, right? But it's not, but in recent changes, I have started to either record a video of myself, literally just talking to myself, in practice of being able to say that thought out loud, just being able to verbalize it. I started to do that, and then it's day 2, but I just started journaling again.
Yay!
And I think that for self-care practices, I used to be like kind of like anal and perfectionistic about it. Right?
Like it must be every day at this time.
And it must be perfect. It must look pretty. It's all that shit. And literally like today I told myself like even if your handwriting looks like shit, and even if you're literally writing like 5 sentences, you wrote something, and it's like, you know, just
if you make it easier on yourself, then you end up doing more.
Yeah,
because it's the same thing as like when you're in school and like your teacher gives you like this amount of work, but then they're like, also this is extra credit, and you're like, hell yeah, I'm gonna do the extra credit, like I'm already here, I feel so accomplished, like this is great,
exactly,
it sets you up for success rather than like failure.
Absolutely. Yeah, I'm starting to try. I'm doing a little personal project with Jenny, who you know and we'll see back here again soon. But it's like basically just me trying to interpret some lessons and things for myself, but also just to put it out there, and whoever use it can use it, whatever, right? So a part of it,
I feel like I see you doing like little like snippets of like motivational pep talk type,
kind of
like,
but it's literally
just like little
me.
Bonus, like here's your little motivation for the day, like take this with you, so that's why you're getting ready, get pumped.
Oh my god, yeah. I actually have to like film like a reel or whatever the fuck today, so I'm actually gonna do that. Sometimes I don't do it. I go by what I feel. So like if I really feel shitty and I don't want to post anything, I won't, and I won't use Instagram or whatever. But like sometimes when I feel like I'm going through something, it makes me feel better to be able to put it in a relatable and humorous way for myself, to just put it out there to see who can like relate, but also for other people to see it and maybe they feel more open to just share how they feel.
Maybe they just see it too and they're like, damn, glad I'm not the only one today.
Because I feel that way about other people. I feel that way when I see other people do shit. So I'm like, you encourage me to be brave. You encourage me to do the same.
Me and some people are like back and forth in the DMs like, dude, thanks for sharing this story. Like, wow, I really love this post. Like, oh my god, this was exactly what I needed to see today. Like, you never know what people are looking at. Like, I forget all the time because I use social media in such a different way. Like, it always changes. Like, I feel like I have a different relationship all the time. So, like, especially because I do it for work and I do it for play and I do it for building my community and for personal, like, diary type, like, mementos, like video journaling is like it's something I've done since I was a kid, so it's like fun to be able to have like an area for it now, like
absolutely,
it's like cute, but yeah, I feel like sometimes you have to like really take a step back and it's a tool and not get sucked in, and
exactly. But whenever I'm able to have better production and someone being there to charge this fucking camera.
This is a setup. I really love it.
Thank you so much, but we can only run for about an hour because she is gonna shut off soon. So that brings me to the ending segment of this podcast, which is Quit That Shit. So Quit That Shit is a segment on our podcast where we hold each other accountable for something that we're trying to let go of that's no longer serving us, and we're saying it out loud so that we're also holding ourselves accountable. You know what I'm saying? Just to put it out into the world. You know. So for this week, my Quit That Shit this is actually something that I told myself before I jumped over the fire, because you're supposed to let go of something. So my Quit That Shit, and what I said is that I am quitting the desire of like, and the yearning for the connection to others.
Yes.
I value the one that I have with myself, and I barely know that one, and so I'm going to prioritize that one. And so I'm gonna put all the time into what do I like and what do I think I like, instead of what do I think other people would like of me. You know?
That feels very similar to how I feel. I really love that. That's good.
What is you putting, Shadi?
Oh my gosh, it's like I feel like it changes every day because I'm constantly trying to find ways to be like a better version of myself. But yeah, I feel very similar to like wanting to be more independent again, because I had a phase in my life where I was like a little too independent.
Yeah.
Maybe I like didn't rely
Hyper
on
independent.
everybody.
Yeah.
Like that.
That shit fuck you up to me too.
Right? And now I've gotten to the point where like I've seen codependency on a different level now. So I'm like, ooh, from me, like of me, right? So I'm like, ooh, okay, like let's find that balance between the two. So I really love what you said. Like I do want to also take in that feeling of like, okay, like you got to make days and times and spaces for you to do these things. You gotta go and like make plans with people as much as you're scared of being rejected, because I literally figured out like that's why I don't reach out to people, because sometimes I'm like, they're like, if I think like they're gonna want to do this thing and I'm like, hey, like do you want to go out with me tomorrow, like we can go get lunch or something, and if they're like, oh sorry I'm busy, even though I know in my logical brain like that's so normal and like that's totally okay, and like honestly it's like not a big deal, like tiny me is like, what? I'm such an idiot for even thinking they want to hang out with me. It's so dramatic, and I'm like, girl, chill out. So yeah,
dude,
long-winded answer, but
what is it with like the little, like the inner child shit is so, it's so insane to me, because so this is something I was talking to with my fucking GM actually, and I'm like telling him about how I am like, literally, I don't know how to flirt, and my way of shooting my shot is that I am as sarcastic as possible, and if you get that shit and you banter back with me, like
it's
that's
over.
Exactly. But then he said something, he laughed and he looked over because he's a little older than me, and he fucking looked over at me and he laughed and he was like you're a fucking 5-year-old and you just be as mean as possible and you hope that they like you back, and I'm like, yes,
that's
bitch.
a read that he.
I'm like, hello, I never grew out of that shit. First of all, I don't know how to, I don't know how to fucking flirt, dog. I literally, like, that's why I think it makes me cringe so fucking hard when I say, like, sappy, lovey-dovey shit. Because I'm like, who the fuck is that? Is that true me? Or is that, like, some other bitch that's like, hello?
No, that's you. That's you. And that's okay. That's cute. There's not enough of that. I think it's really sweet. I think people should do more of that, because you only get one life. And you know, like, why wouldn't you let somebody know something so nice?
Yeah.
Like, maybe they don't reciprocate the same deep feelings about it, but like you could totally make somebody's day, like, and not let it take on a personal route. Like you could just say those feelings and be like, I just think you're great, and like, you're lovely, and that's nice.
Oh my god!
Right? Like,
that even the thought of that makes me want to throw up. Quite literally, but like not in, but like I mean it. Like I really like with the, okay, so yesterday I have this friend who I have a really respectful and loving relationship with and whatever, but I get scared when I meet really respectful and loving dudes, because it's sketchy out there, and especially for situations that I've been in. So I don't allow myself to cross boundaries and whatever. But yesterday, I don't know why, I just accidentally like slipped and I was soft as fuck, and like I meant it. You know, I meant it, like, but then I like freaked out because I was like, ew, was that me like being too like flirty or and too vulnerable? Way too vulnerable. So I like literally freaked out for like an hour. I literally deleted our chat just so I didn't have to see it, so that it's out of sight, out of mind. Like,
so
it's insane. Like, it's insane, my train of thought. And then guess what? I go to work, I forget about it, I look at my phone like literally like 8 hours later, and he reciprocated the same fucking energy, and I was like, why did I want to crawl out of my skin so bad?
I feel like you have to take those moments and like log them.
Yeah, absolutely. I did. Absolutely.
Because when something awful happens, it's so easy to like click that in and be like, that's now a permanent memory. Yeah. But when good shit happens, you just let it ride. You just let it move and I was like, it doesn't matter. But like this like negative shit will stick with you. You have to make it like a big ordeal in your brain. Like, that was such a win for me. Like,
yes, so even if it's small.
What a great day. Like, I'm so glad I like did all of that shit. Like, look at all the people I saw. Like, man, wow. Like, that's what we gotta like keep in our system.
Yeah. Well, thank you for letting me share this stupid fucking story.
I love that story. I think that's so sweet. And I think more friendships should be based on just like like affection and intimacy in ways that is not like physical. Like I have friends who like I can hold and hug and we smooch and like on the shoulders and on the cheeks, like we just love each other so much. And I'm always so complimentary with my peeps because I like, why wouldn't I be? Like I do truly get excited like a little kid when I see my friends, and if they took time to look so cute and no one tells them like, what the fuck is that about? Like, hell no, we're gonna change that today. Like, I love that. That's good. That's good. Nice stuff. Who doesn't like nice stuff? I love my friends.
I know.
I love
truly.
my friends.